Millennials wear low-cut socks. Zoomers wear high-cut socks. This, according to one famous TikToker, Phoebe Parsons, is the distinction between the two generations.
This is exactly how you can tell the difference between a millennial and a Gen Z just by looking at their feet. Are their socks up? Or are they wearing hidden ankle socks? Because Gen Zs exclusively wear their socks up and millennials still wear ankle socks. I'm a millennial.
I think this might be true. Now, I don't wear socks because I'm lazy and I certainly don't want to launder them. Not that I would anyway. But I don't even want that extra step. So I, being somewhat waspy, even the Italians though do sockless loafers sometimes. I wear my loafers. I put, then I don't have to worry about it. So I have a little bit of remove to consider this very important issue. The Zoomers wear big socks. The millennials wear short socks. That's true. This is why you want styles and behaviors and especially ideas and desires that are timeless. Because I remember when ankle socks and even the little shorter socks came into vogue and we thought, this is so cool. Only boomers are wearing those long socks now, but we're cool. This was when I was 12 or something. Yeah, this is hip and cool, man. But then styles change. This is the teaching of Fulton Sheen, variously attributed to Dean Inge and other people, which is that if you marry yourself to the spirit of the age, you'll find yourself a widow in the next. Fashions, fads are always changing. I have not changed my haircut since I was 6 years old. When I was 5 years old, I had a slightly more to the side haircut than when I was 6 years old. I asked if it could go back a little bit more because I liked Elvis. But that's pretty much it. I've had the same haircut the whole time. And it's never been super in fashion, but it's really never been all that out of fashion. It's the kind of haircut that guys have been wearing for probably 100 years now or more. My clothing, I kind of just wear clothing that you could wear this kind of clothing in the 1940s or 50s or 80s or 90s. And it's never like super hip or cool, but then you're never caught out when the fashions drastically change. You wore the big powder blue wide lapel tuxedo with the bell bottoms to prom, and now you look ridiculous 20 years later. You want something that's a little bit It's more classic and that's more timeless. That's my aesthetic advice. But it ties into a moral advice, which is you don't want to totally abstract yourself from your time because we live in time and space. Okay, we live in history. We're born at a certain date. We're going to die at a certain date. And we're not going to meet people who lived 200 years prior. We might meet them through books. We might meet them through an engagement with tradition, which lends itself to classics and timeless ideas, but we're not going to meet those people. What we want from the contingent world of time is people, is encounters with real people. We are bodies as well as souls. We live in time and space. We're going to die at some point. So you don't want to totally remove yourself in a weird Gnostic, hippy-dippy, New Agey kind of way, or some Eastern religion kind of way where you think I've had past lives, man, and cycles of reincarnation. No, that's not true. You're born, you're created, you're born, you're gonna die at some point, and then something's gonna happen to you after you die. That's what you want. It's those people. That's the urgency of time and contingency. And the way that you treat those people, the way you engage with those people, the things that you can do with those people, ought to tie into things that are timeless and classic and that are not going to change. And if you can reflect that in your style, all the better. And then you won't get made fun of on TikTok for wearing short socks. There's so much more to say. First, though, text Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to 989898. Saudi Arabia recently ended its 50-year petrodollar deal with the U.S., which has the potential to weaken the U.S. dollar. Since 1974, Saudi Arabia has sold oil solely in U.S. dollars, which was huge for our global economic dominance. It's for reasons like this that I feel it's important to diversify some of your savings into gold. And you can do that with the help of Birch Gold. For over 20 years, Birch Gold Group has helped tens of thousands of Americans to protect their savings by converting an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. To learn more, text Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to 989898 and claim your free no-obligation info kit on gold. Birch Gold has earned my trust with their education-first approach, as well as the trust of thousands of happy customers. They understand that navigating financial decisions can be scary. That's why their dedicated in-house IRA department is there to help you every step of the way. I am glad that I have a significant portion of my portfolio in gold. Protect your savings with gold. Text Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to 989898. Talk to one of Birch Gold's experts. Claim your free info kit. That is Knowles. Text it to 989898. Knowles to 989898. President Biden has turned over his lectern to an illegal alien.
My resilient parents brought me to this country to give me a chance at a better future when I was just 3 years old. I am a dreamer. Growing up undocumented was not easy. Like thousands of other immigrants, my parents endured hard labor in order to provide for the family. They are a symbol of the American dream, and they helped me with my dream. It is a privilege to personally thank President Biden for delivering on his promise to protect American families like mine.
We're much better and stronger nation because of dreamers like Javier.
Okay, much better and stronger nation. He said, we're a nation of immigrants, which we're not. That's a term that was brought up by Vice President Dan Quayle in the early 1990s. We are not a nation of immigrants. We're a nation that was founded by settlers that then had waves of immigration, but then that shut down immigration for decades and decades at a time because we realized that immigration can create all sorts of problems, as it is today when the vast majority of Americans want to drastically reduce the level of all immigration, legal and illegal, and when an even greater vast majority of Americans want to shut down illegal immigration. Biden decides it's a good idea to invite this guy who's an illegal alien to come to the White House and complain. The guy, this young man who's my age, came over here when he was 3, apparently. I am not saying that he must be immediately deported. I recognize there can be some nuance with the enforcement of immigration policy. He should be deported. This kid should be deported for sure. But people in his position are not necessarily the sort who ought to be deported. The reason that this kid should be deported is because of his awful attitude. He clearly has acclimated to America because of his clear sense of entitlement and whining. It was so hard. It was so hard growing up as an illegal resident being treated with a red carpet in this country. It was so hard. It was so terrible. And that's why I demand legal status and I demand citizenship. How about you demand nothing? How about you shut your mouth and say thank you? Thank you to the country that has been so good to you, that should have, by all rights, deported you and your parents 30 years ago. How about you do that? How about just a simple thank you? But there is no simple thank you. It's wah, 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 woe is me, my life is so terribly hard, and I demand that you Americans give me even more than my family's already been given, which is more than any other country would have ever given my family in the history of the world. Absolutely enraging. And this is it. If this is the attitude, if the attitude of the illegal aliens is now one of entitlement and demanding even more than the extraordinary gifts that they've already been given by the extraordinarily generous American people, deport them all. Okay? That's going to be the attitude of Americans. I don't know what Biden was thinking here. I think that Biden has memory problems and he thinks it's still 2010. He thinks it's still 2008. When people are broadly in favor of migration and we want to come to a compromise and give a path to citizenship for the poor. This ain't 2008. This ain't 2010. Immigration is causing a lot of problems. We have an unprecedented invasion at the border. We have millions and millions of people coming here every single year. This has created economic problems. You're seeing major crime problems. American citizens being murdered by illegal aliens. The White House denies any responsibility whatsoever. The DHS Secretary, Mayorkas, denies any responsibility. No big deal. Every crime committed by an illegal alien that is encouraged to come here by this administration is the responsibility of the White House, in addition to the responsibility of the criminal. And now they say, hey, give them more. That is not going to play in Peoria. Not going to play at all. A little gratitude goes a long way. The left does not want any of it. That was a great clip. Now, ring the bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.